lots of carbon-intensive meat. But that development will also naturally limit population growth as people become richer. So this is a new direction for the UN, the suggestion that condoms, as well as low-carbon cars, can limit climate change.
Thanks for this. I'm reporting. Joining us now, Caroline Boyne, an environment analyst at the International Policy Network, and Simon Ross from Optimum Population Trust. Well, Caroline Boyne, do you accept that link?
Actually, by the report's own admission, it states that the linkages between climate change and population are extremely complex and indirect links. So I believe if we're serious about addressing climate change, there's a lot better policies we can take up, addressing problems that are already affecting people today, like diseases, hunger, or water shortages. And we should basically concentrate on those rather than, frankly, put something in place which will probably have no impact on carbon emissions.
But Simon Ross, you would argue strongly that you need to control population if you're going to control climate change.
Absolutely. We think we've our own responsibility to look after our own carbon emissions. Industry is becoming greener. The population growth has got to be one of the key issues.
And that is because you believe in population growth you get more meat eating, more car driving, more plane flying?
Absolutely. Whether you're talking about rich countries like the US or UK where population is growing, middle income countries like India or China, or poorer countries, population growth contributes to climate change, as well as biodiversity loss and all the other issues.
Sure, that's pretty undeniable. I mean, 10.5 billion people would trash the planet, wouldn't it?
I think one of the incredible things is that humans are not just mouths. We don't just consume things. We've also learned how to come up with innovative ideas, technology.
But we've got plenty of people with those without adding to them, haven't we? I mean, in fairness, 6.5 billion is not bad. There must be some good brains in there.
According to whose plan? I mean, the idea that there's, first of all, an optimum population is completely ridiculous. What we do actually need to look at in the context of climate change, in the context of things that are often blamed on overpopulation, so as I said before, hunger and lack of access to water, or why these things are happening. What the United Nations report really fails is to suggest some very concrete policies to address these things. So yes, you can go ahead and try and reduce the number of people, which, by the way, we don't even know how to do for sure. Assuming we know how to reduce
people have reduced population. India managed to do some venting. Iran?
Through forced sterilization in the 1970s, partly. So it depends what kind of society we want to be.
There's very proven technologies. UK charities like Mary Stopes or IPPF are running very good programs in developing countries providing family planning services to 200 million women who don't have it. Caroline's press release talks about water shortages, food scarcity. Where does that come from? It comes from population growth. It's doctored out maternal health.
Well, there is a problem with plain reduction, because reducing the population of a developing country is a very different matter from reducing the population of a developed country in terms of climate change.
Absolutely, it's a global problem, and it should be, and we've all got a responsibility. Even in the UK, people should be thinking about having 1 or 2 children, not 3 or 4 or 5.
Well, at the moment, the government's concerned that they only have 1. I mean, there's not enough. I mean, in the truth, there's had to be immigration to keep the labour force up.
We've got a bigger population than we've ever had, and we don't need it to be that big, and it's not sustainable long term. People are thinking very short term. We don't have the future.
I think it's a gimmick, to be honest. I think we should be looking at proper solutions to climate change through innovation and technology. And if we are worried about...
therefore ignore the growth of population altogether?
All the problems... Yes, I mean, I don't think a lot of these symptoms we see out there, so hunger, etc., or environmental damage, are not down to overpopulation. I mean, your press release, your group often holds up Iran as an example of female empowerment, which frankly I find quite ridiculous, considering women are considered as second-class citizens.
We don't talk about empowerment. It's about family planning, education, and a voluntary family planning program.
If you look at Iran, the environment there, Tehran is one of the dirtiest cities on earth. They've got huge deforestation problems, water contamination. To say low population growth is going to lead to better environment and to empower women is ridiculous. And I agree with you. I'm all for family planning and access to contraception and education for women, but what bothers me is groups like the United Nations and your organization, who have an ulterior motive. You don't want women to have access just to have access so they can make decisions.
Hang on a minute. So you have an ulterior motive of doing women
damage? That's not true.
No, it's reducing the population.
If women have access to family planning, they themselves decide to have 1 or 2. That's experience worldwide. We've got Copenhagen next month. We'll be talking about wind farms. We'll be talking about recycling. We should be talking about funding family planning services in the third world.
Simon Ross and Caroline Boyne, thank you both very much indeed. After the break,